What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video on ESPN Sports Center, they're going to be talking about how Giannis Antetokuopmpo just signed a 5-year, $228 million extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Welcome back to Sports Center with our breaking news. Hannah Storm and Jay Harris with you. Congratulations to Giannis and everyone in Milwaukee as he has agreed and announced on Twitter that he will sign a 5-year, $228 million Supermax extension, putting him in Milwaukee for years to come.
Wow, must be nice.
Apparently, it was a very thoughtful decision. The deadline was December 21st, so a few days early. A huge sigh of relief from Milwaukee and the Bucks franchise. And here with insight is Adrian Wojnarowski. So what more can you tell us?
So this is huge for Giannis Antetokuopmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Just the fact that he signed so early, that he had up until December 21st to make a decision. A lot of guys wait to the very last second to make that decision, but just the fact that he decided early on and what he wanted to do is huge. That means he knows what he wanted. He was committed. I don't know why I thought he was gonna, or there's a chance that he'd go to the Golden State Warriors and be able to play with them. I wonder if Klay Thompson being injured had anything to do with him making a choice to possibly going to the Golden State Warriors. So I don't know. Let's continue.
Hannah, I just talked to his agent, Alex Saratzis, with Octagon, and just as you said, Hannah, this was a decision he had to think long and hard about, and ultimately got back to the fact that I think ultimately for him, he feels like he grew up in Milwaukee, and he has a great affinity, a love for that organization, and believes that he can win there, and I think and win in an organization that he feels, in a community he feels very strongly about. The idea of going elsewhere and being part of a super team ultimately didn't appeal to him, Hannah, as much as it did continuing to try to win in Milwaukee. He's had a chance in this training camp and early preseason to see in action and on the floor and get to know some of his new teammates, and likes the direction of where this is headed. But 5 years, $228 million. I'm also told, Hannah, in that extension, he'll have a player option, an ability to opt out of the deal after the 4th year of the contract.
So that's cool that Giannis Antetokuopmpo is that loyal and dedicated to the Milwaukee Bucks. So definitely they're going to just start rebuilding around him. And I see some big things for the Milwaukee Bucks coming up. They have the 2-time back-to-back MVP. And, there's going to be someone that's going to want to go play with them. Because I do believe if he had some help, if he had another player of his cloth, they definitely would have gone deeper in the playoffs. If not, well, I don't want to say win it all because the Lakers were too tough. But they definitely would have made more noise than what they did with having Giannis be the only player of his cloth. So this is going to be huge. It's going to be a great next couple years for the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's continue.
When they were unable to execute this sign and trade for Bogdanovic, that made a lot of people sort of nervous. Were they going to be able to put together a group of players where he felt like they could start to really match their regular season expectations and have more postseason success with this team, with the championship being the goal? Are they done? Do they feel like all the pieces are in place now, Woj?
Well, certainly for this season, this is your team. Bringing in Drew Holiday from New Orleans was certainly, an impactful signing or an impactful trade for them, and they'll work very hard to re-sign Holiday. That becomes a lot easier, I think, from Drew Holiday's perspective, knowing that Giannis is going to be there, but having Chris Middleton locked up and players like Brook Lopez back, this is a core he believes in, and a group again, that has had most of this group together. Obviously, there's some changes now that have had great regular season success. They've got to figure out how to translate that into the postseason, but his commitment is to do it in Milwaukee, stay there. And, ultimately, he knew what the options were going to be for him in free agency next summer, and decided that what he has in Milwaukee beats the rest of it. And certainly that contract puts him at the very top of the list of contracts that anyone has done in league history. And now Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was drafted by the Bucks, who signed an extension, now has signed a second extension that takes.
That's loyalty right there.
Him through the prime of his career with Milwaukee. For John Horster, general manager, and owner Mark Lazary, this is a huge coup for Milwaukee, and I think for smaller market teams all over the
Right.
NBA to be able to keep a player of this stature. This is a big day for the Bucks.
I mean, this is where.
So this most certainly is a big day for the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, this can quickly turn into the house that Giannis Antetokounmpo built if he's able to win some championships. Because somebody's definitely going to want to come and play with Giannis. And like I said before, I think they would have had a better chance and gone deeper in the playoffs if he had another player of his clout. Because I knew in the playoffs he'd have to be going against a duo, either Anthony Davis and LeBron James, or Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, or just some duo he's going to have to go against that it'd be very hard for him to win going against two other guys that are superstars just like he is. But like I said, this is huge. He has complete loyalty to the Milwaukee Bucks, and hopefully it pays off. Hopefully it pays off because Milwaukee is a small market, but that just makes it kind of better for him because if he's able to win some championships, it'll go down as the Milwaukee Bucks is the house that Giannis Antetokounmpo built with all the championships. I know who was it? Wilt Chamberlain won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. I can't remember, like in the 60s or something like that. But now it'll be the house that Giannis Antetokounmpo built. If he's able to stay there, win championships, and just take care of business, it'll be huge. He'll be like a god in Milwaukee.
He literally grew up. This is his home here in the United States. I mean, he feels so emotionally tied to the city. But you just mentioned being a smaller market, and we've seen it again and again, that players eventually leaving markets like this for maybe more glitz, maybe more glamour, to team up with another superstar, to chase that title, to chase the lights. Why is this such a unique situation?
Well, I just think it speaks to who Giannis Antetokounmpo is and how he was raised in Athens and his family and just how he views loyalty and commitment. And I think part of what took him maybe more time to make this decision was he takes very seriously the idea of making a commitment, that it isn't just, well, hey, I can sign and then I could force a trade in a couple of years. You know, James Harden has 3 years left on his contract, as an example, and can force a trade and likely will at some point get out of Houston. He looks at it differently, and in his mind, making a commitment is just that. And so he had to think through this. This was a huge decision for him, and believing that he could win with the Bucks, and now he's done that, and he's committed, and they can continue now to build a roster around Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, so they're building around Giannis. It's going to be out of control. Like I said, this is a very good situation because the Milwaukee Bucks is a small organization. You know, it's not like they've won championships, you know, back-to-back years, and they have a great history. If Giannis can get in there, take care of business, win a championship or two, I mean, that'll be so huge for the Milwaukee Bucks. You think the Toronto Raptors love Kawhi Leonard? I mean, Milwaukee would definitely treat Giannis Antetokounmpo like a god if he's able to win a championship there. And he can also claim that he built this team from the ground up. He didn't go to a team that's already made up. He didn't go to a championship caliber team. He built his team from the bottom on up, took care of business, and now he's a god in Milwaukee and a Hall of Famer and a championship champion. It can get real crazy.
Has the MVP, has the best regular season record, and now a chance to really do something special for the history of that franchise and win a championship at some point. It'll be a fascinating few years, and Woj, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
Hannah, Giannis is a two-time reigning league MVP. The scary thing is he is still improving. His scoring and rebounding averages have gone up every season in the NBA.